Good morning, Nikki. How you doing?
Good morning.
Another beautiful morning. How was your weekend?
It was, what did I do this weekend? It was amazing, actually.
Good.
I went to a concert and I met one of my favorite bands. So that was awesome.
Right on. Who's that?
Broken Love. They're from Ontario.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I like
And
that.
yeah.
Well, I
Sorry.
appreciate you giving me a little flexibility. I didn't realize that my mom and dad's 57th anniversary was on Sunday when we booked our meeting, right? So it was, when you called, I was right in the middle of a card game with my grandkids.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, no, I just figured I'd call just to be like, hey, what's going on?
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate the flexibility. Life happens. That's what we have to kind of do and roll with it.
Yeah.
So what would you like to get accomplished today, Nikki?
I would like to set or just like converse about what to get done within a month. Like I think those 1 month goals or weekly goals or whatever, because we decided that was where my biggest flaw was I can see the future, but I can't see what's right in front of me.
Absolutely. So I don't know if Start Smart has provided you any frameworks or templates for goal setting.
Mm-hmm.
Have they done that?
I don't not that I believe. No, right now we just got the business how to create a business plan. There we
Okay.
go.
All right. Cool. So doing a business plan, because you're a startup, doing a business plan is really important, and it's not so much the plan per se, but the actual act of planning the process out so that you start to understand all the different moving pieces there is to your business. Because as you start to grow it, you're going to need to make sure all those pieces are in place, right? So, your finances, your growth strategy, your business strategy, your operation, and how you deliver on all that. And then in addition to all that, how are you going to market the business? Because I believe every business owner has two businesses. First and foremost, you have a marketing business, and then you have a delivery business.
Yeah.
And I learned that the hard way in my oil and gas business. Without the marketing, you'll never have anything to deliver. Does that make sense?
Oh no, exactly. Actually, we figured that out yesterday. We started our boot camps yesterday, and
Yeah.
we had all 5 of them cancel at the last minute. So we took that opportunity to discuss what we wanted to see with the boot camps and where we wanted to go in the future and how we were going to make it actually market properly. So I came up with a few ideas. And so if the boot camps don't work out the evening hour, we're going to take that hour and we're going to do door-to-door marketing, show them our flyer, show them what we offer, and like actually get personable, because that's what we were missing last time. We were just doing social media, which he has a larger social media platform and I don't, since I'm just starting up. So we were able to hit a lot of people on his platform, but no one really committed.
Yeah.
And so yes, that worked, but we need to get actually out into the community, people who are committed to fitness and working out and everything like that. So that's where I seen that flaw. And so we're going to fix that.
Good. So I'm just going to share something here with you.
Sure.
I'm just going to sign in with my iPad here so I can draw it out for you. So this might help. And then, because this is kind of where you're talking about right now. What we'll do as soon as we get this done, I will save a copy of it for you and then send it to you via email. But I also want to make sure that you get, why am I signing in here twice? This makes no sense. That's really weird. Really, really weird.
I don't know. Technology is weird and I can't figure it out either.
Oh my goodness, that is so weird. It shows that I'm signed in, but when I go to my Zoom, it quits working.
Hmm.
That's so crazy. There
Yeah.
it is. Kick me out now. Okay, let's go back here.
Okay.
So then after I get done drawing out this little quick drawing for you, what I do want to share with you is a tool that I created to help business owners like yourself figure out what you need to do to take that yearly goal and then
Yeah.
break it down into bite-sized chunks. Have you ever heard the term reverse engineering?
I've heard that, yes.
Okay, so essentially we're going to use reverse engineering to figure out how to achieve your goal. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yep.
All right, cool. So when you're going out to market, there's you.
Okay.
I'm going to change this actually. This is your customer. They don't know who you are. They have a problem.
Yeah.
And you want to get your customer over to here where they know who you are and they're happy that you help them solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And along this process are different products that you need to be able to create to help your client get there.
Yeah.
And the first one I like to call them is just gifts. These are gifts that you put out onto social media that you can hand out for free, no strings attached. So you give them away, you don't expect to get anything in return, no email, no phone number, nothing. And that can be, those things can be as simple as little short videos, Facebook Lives where you do, 5 minutes of, hey, you guys are struggling with weight loss, try this. Or you're struggling with trying to curb your appetite, try this. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So just little tidbits of information. Then the next thing we're going to get into that you'll need to want to create is what kind of product can you create that will get your prospects to opt in for you. We call those lead magnets.
Okay.
Right? A free report on the 5 biggest mistakes that people make when they're trying to get into the gym and build that routine as an example. That free report, hey, get our free report, and all we need in exchange is you give us your email and we'll give you the free report. Does that make sense? Or an ebook. And I'm sure you've opted in for all kinds of ebooks and stuff like that. Same scenario there. And the idea is to drive traffic into your core offer, right? Which is, in this case, your boot camps, right?
Yeah.
The struggle is how do we get people to go from unknown to here and get them to go to here where they get to be happy?
Yeah, that's where we discussed it yesterday. We were just like, because Sean's known through word of mouth. I'm known through word of mouth, but we need to get really out there, really out in the community.
Word of mouth is great.
Yeah.
Referrals are great.
Okay.
Networking are
Yeah.
great, right? Here's the challenge with all of those. Those, even though they're great, they're not the best.
Okay.
And the reason why is they're not predictable. And what do I mean by not predictable?
They're not reliable in a way?
No, you don't know when you're going to get them or how many.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's just a guess, right? So
Okay.
how can you plan your business on growing it when your leads are just a guess?
Yeah.
It's hard to do that. So what you have to do is you have to come up with a more predictable way of generating leads through social media content, right? Which is this stuff down here. You can do Facebook ads, Google ads. You can do door to door.
Yeah.
Right, what you were talking about there. These are all great ways because you control the conversation. You can control who and how many you get. when you get really good at your social media content, I was just talking to my marketing lady last night. 21, you need 21 posts on your social media page for the algorithms to start to like it.
Okay.
If you don't have 21 posts there yet,
I'm already there.
21 live videos are great. That's when the algorithms will start to pick up and you'll start to engage with people, right? So 21's a minimum. If you haven't warmed up your social media or your audience, it might take a while to do that, right?
Yeah.
Does this make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
All right, cool. So there's a lot of different things to do, but before you can get into here, we kind of have to back up a little bit to figure out what your plan is, right?
Okay.
And so I'm going to share with you a document I call it my action planning document.
Mm-hmm.
But really what it's going to do is we're going to take your 12 months, and those are financial goal,
Mm-hmm.
right? So how much money do you need to make? And we're going to break that down into how many number of clients you need to have.
Okay.
And then based on the number of clients, we're going to break that down even a smaller step on how many leads you need to get in your door and how many prospects you need to talk to turn them into leads. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then how many suspects you need for that. A suspect is anyone that you suspect that might use your service. A prospect is someone who probably fits into your perfect demographic. And a lead is someone that raises their hand and says, yeah, I'm interested.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's maybe unpack that a little bit here. What is your 12-month financial goal?
I want to make probably 15 grand.
How many clients is that? Your boot camp's right around $500.
Yeah.
So you need 30 clients.
Okay.
Is that doable, or is that really small, or is that really big?
That would be small, but we would need 60 because since we are splitting the profits.
So you need to go 60.
Mm-hmm.
So are you guys the stuff that you're doing together, boot camps, that's like a joint venture?
Yes.
Okay. So let me erase this. Let's erase this. It might be beneficial if your partner was in on these calls too, because it would be beneficial for him as well. So we're going to change this to 30,000.
Okay.
Change that to 60 clients.
Okay.
Do you think that's a doable number? How many people are you hoping to get into boot camp every week?
Every week, at least 12.
And you're going to run it 50 weeks of the year?
No, we were just gonna do, everything's kind of up in the air right now, but we just kind of started this just to get our names out there. But we would like to do at least spring to fall, so probably April to September, and then the rest would be
6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. So 12 new clients every week?
It would be 12. That's the thing with boot camps. It'd be 12 reoccurring clients for 6 weeks.
Oh, for 6 weeks. So, but what I'm saying though is every week you don't bring on another 12 clients?
No, we wouldn't be, not for the boot camps.
Not so you do 6 weeks of 12 clients, then you'll do another 6 weeks?
Yeah, it'd be different. Now with personal training, it would be a lot easier to do 12 clients, and then slowly bring on more. But
Yeah, so what I'm just trying to kind of do the math here for you. Let me just change the screen here. So to generate Where's this? So you have 12 boot camp, 12 clients. Sorry. Yeah, I'm good with this morning. 12 clients times 500 equals 12 times 500. My math is bad this morning, but that's why I have a calculator. That's
Smart.
$6,000, right?
Okay.
And then you're going to do this for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And each one of these is per 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So 6 months divided by 6 weeks equals, I think it's 25 weeks divided by 6 is 4. You get 4 rounds of this, right? So 4 times 6 is $32,000.
Oh, 32, yeah. So that would be good for,
So one of the things that you could probably look at doing, does that make sense to you, what I just drew out here?
yep, exactly.
Right. So by September, you could hit your 12-month goal
Mm-hmm.
based on this plan here alone,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So that's $32,000, 4 consecutive sessions. How much time a week goes into those sessions?
2 hours.
So 2 hours.
Oh, sorry, 2 to 4 hours. Depending on who wants to, because right now we had the option for them to do one morning and one evening, 2 days a week.
Okay.
Everyone chose the evening, so we have the option for 4 hours, but everyone seems to just be doing the 2 evening hours.
Right. So 2 to 4 hours a week is very doable for you?
Yeah.
Do you see an opportunity to increase, instead of doing 12 clients a week, you can do 24 and 2 concurrent sessions?
Yeah.
Right, so you could double your revenue.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go in green here. I'm going to go 24 clients, 6 months, 8 rounds, $64,000, 4 to 8 hours per week.
Okay.
You see how that planning, what we just talked about in the planning, because you're only investing 4 to 8 hours a week, you can now potentially double your amount of revenue.
Okay.
Now, you don't have to do that. You can stick with the 12. I would highly recommend in your promotion, in your marketing, as you go around, you get your first 12, keep marketing. And if you pick up another 12 in a week or 2, then you can start a second session. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
That's exactly what I'm doing currently right now with my own business group coaching clients. So that's a perfect way to do that.
Okay.
So let's break that down. $32,000 over 12 months, which is, what did we say? 12 times 4 is 48 clients.
Yeah.
Right? So those 48 clients, how many to get the first 12? So the first cohort is 12 clients. Do you know what your closing ratio is? Like when you actually speak to someone and you try to sell them into the boot program, what's your closing ratio? Is it 1 in 10 that you close? Is it 2 in 10, 2 in 4?
I have no idea.
Okay, so you'll want to start tracking some of those things, so
Okay.
you can get an idea for what that is. I'm gonna suggest a rule of 10. That's
Okay.
I don't know what anybody else calls it. I call it rule of 10, and that simply says that to get 1 client, you need to speak to 10 people and sell them on the idea.
Okay.
Make sense? Now, to
Yep.
speak to 10 people, you probably actually have to talk to 100 people to try to book the appointment. Out of that 100 people, 10 will book 10 you can try to sell. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So out of that 100, you book 10 appointments. Out of those 10 appointments, you'll make one sale. So have you taken any sales training?
No, I haven't, but I'm pretty good at talking to people. I need to work on like kind of like a good closing.
Yeah. So
But
I highly recommend you practice whatever close you come up with, practice it. Because practice is going to allow you to get better.
Yeah.
Right. Have you ever read a book? It's called Challenger Sale.
No.
I highly recommend you read it. It's a very good book. I'm just finishing listening to it for the second time. It's instead of trying to identify what their needs are, try to help your client identify not only their needs, but have them look at it a different way to make them go, oh, geez, I didn't know that. Okay. And when you get them to buy into what you're selling, it's easy for you to close them. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay, so kind of what I've kind of helped you do, and I didn't do this, I didn't let you do this, I kind of walked you through how to do this.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to suggest you do is, after you get off the call here with me, sit down with your business partner and kind of work out a plan on, you know, here's some of the things that we need to have in place to be able to make this work. What do we have to do? What do we got to execute on? And so I'm going to send you a framework that will allow you to identify what your objectives are.
Okay.
And then based on your objectives, you can set some SMART goals. And based on those SMART goals, you can start saying, hey, this is what we need to do. And then based on what you need to do, build an action plan out saying, hey, I need to make 100 phone calls this week, or I need to talk to 100 people this week to get one client. That makes sense? Yeah. And through that whole process that you do that, you need to track how many people you talk to. You need to track is not just the yeses, but the nos. So if you talk to 100 people and you get 100 nos, take a step back and go, okay, why am I getting the nos? There's something you're saying that's not getting them to engage, that goes, geez, I know, don't want it. So how do you reframe that to get them to say yes? So that's the whole process in the sales process that allows you to go from the rule of 10 to the rule of 2, right? Yeah. And the rule of 2 is 50% close rate. So you talk to close one client, you need to actually have meetings with 2 people. And to get those meetings with 2 people, you need to talk to 4. Okay. Right? And that's all about improving that whole process. So the rule of 10 is where most people start out with, because they've never done it before. They're brand new at it, and it's going to be ugly. And this is where you probably heard the term throwing mud at the wall. Is you just throw mud at the wall till something sticks, and then you go sell it to them, the ones that stick, right? That's a great way of, you know, being busy, but it's not a great way of being effective. Okay. To be effective, you want to be able to really target who your audience is, like who's the best ideal client for your boot camp, and do the market research on them. Yeah, that's what the door-to-door was for. We wanted to see what the community was interested in, instead of us just telling them what they're interested in. Yeah, absolutely. What's your best client look like? Someone who's motivated, determined to change, ready for change, I guess, wants to learn, open to criticism. I don't know how many people are open to criticism. Well, the thing is, with personal training, you have to be open to hearing some things that you need to work on, right? Yeah, so absolutely. Yeah, so I would change that to constructive feedback. Constructive feedback, okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab a coffee. So when we're looking at who your best customer is, there's 3 things I want you to keep in mind. And this is one of Dan Kennedy's rules. If you guys are serious about marketing your business, I would recommend both of you, you and your partner, read a book by Dan Kennedy called Magnetic Marketing. Am I recording this? I am. Good. So I'll send you a link to this recording as well.
Okay.
Dan Kennedy, right? He's a guru in marketing, but he essentially talks about there's 3 things you need to do to make marketing effective.
Mhm.
First one is you need to know your market. Who are you selling to? Right? Where do they live? And we're not talking just demographics, but it's psychographics. You ever heard the term avatar? Customer
Yeah.
avatar? So that's what you need to be kind of identifying here to help it go easy. The psychographics, PSYCHO something, blah, 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 right? Psychographics, I can't spell it. Psychographics leans more into why they do what they do, right? Like, why do they live where they do? Why do they drive what they do? Why do they go to certain areas to work out? Why do they go to certain areas to go shopping? Why do they believe in their political beliefs, right? When you can understand them that well and you can describe their problem to them better than they can, they'll automatically assume that you can solve it for them.
Mhm.
When you send a message out to those individuals, when you identify what their problem is that only you and your partner can solve with the boot camp, it'll be easy to get them to sign up.
Okay.
Right? Because you're targeting people that are wanting and ready for what you have.
Yep.
That's the challenge with marketing right there, right? So has any of this made sense to you?
Oh, 100%.
All right, cool, good.
My brain's just like thinking about all the things that I could be doing like later on with sales and talking to everyone. So while you're talking, I'm just like, oh, there's an idea. There's an idea.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we go back to this 12 clients at 500 a session, right?
Yeah.
Equals $6,000.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you guys start to market your boot camp? And this last weekend was the boot camp, and you got you got what, 5 people registered?
We had one person registered, and the other 4 were going to be coming in person. And that's where we messed up. We said that they could pay in person instead of registering and paying online. So that's a learning curve for both of us.
Okay. So they so instead of getting to pay for it first, they showed up. They were supposed to show up day of and pay for it, and they didn't. And yeah, absolutely, huge thing. Getting someone to commit to something is really, really important. You know, and one of the best things you can do in your sales process is say, look, you know, if money's an issue, what can you afford? Just give me something to show me that you're committed, right?
Okay.
And if they need $500 and they say, look, I don't have 500 now, but I can give you 250, then say, great. When you show up first day, pay us the rest, and we're good to go.
Okay.
Right? But at least now they're committed. They paid some of it, and it shows they're committed, right?
True. Very true.
So does that help you kind of break out, you know, in a nutshell, what you need to do to get your 12 clients per cohort?
Yeah, it made my brain kind of have a goal so I can focus on it.
So I'm going to send you this tool. I call it, geez, I don't even remember what I call it now. It's I just call it my action planning tool, and it'll help you set some objectives. So first and foremost, you got to go high level, because without a vision and a purpose around why you want to do something, it's really hard to motivate yourself to get out of bed and go do it, right? You got to have that motivation. Having a purpose will give you some of that motivation. Have you ever read Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why? No, it's a good book. He talks about having a purpose, having a reason why you want to do something before you even get started. I don't think you need to have it to get started, but I do believe somewhere between when you start and when you want to scale your business, you have to have a purpose.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't have that purpose built in, your business won't survive.
True.
Right? Making money can't be the end goal of the business. Making money is a life sign or lifeblood to a business, revenue, profit, cash flow, all that stuff, but it's not the purpose for a business to exist.
Yeah.
Right. Purpose for a business to exist has to solve a problem. Right?
So what I wanted to include in the boot camps is I want to pair or join in with the community's food bank. And I wanted the community to know that a percentage of the boot camps that we make will be going to be donated to the food bank,
Mhm.
and we'll take food donations as well.
Absolutely, that's a good idea.
Mhm.
A really good idea. Definitely, I would do the, please bring a donation for sure.
Yeah.
12 clients. I want you guys to go back and look at how long it took you to market. So the time involved, time it took to get to yesterday's boot camp. So the boot camp where you had 5. So let's change that. It had 1 registered and 5 promised, right?
Took us 2 weeks.
So that was 2 weeks to get there.
Yeah.
Right. And you were not quite 50% capacity.
Yeah, not quite.
Right. How many people did you talk to? And this is what you guys are going to need to figure out between the two of you, is because we have to be able to track it. Like, so how many?
That's a good question. I honestly couldn't give you a proper answer, but I'm gonna say between 20 and 30.
20 to 30. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad. So that's
like, we have people interested. It's just getting them to commit is what we need to work on.
yeah. So
And
you're at a 20% close rate given those numbers. So that's not bad, right?
Okay.
Definitely area for improvement. But you can kind of see if you talk to 20 to 30 and you only got 5, what do you need to do?
talk to 50 to 100.
That's right. Because it's numbers game, right? You have to talk to more to get there. When you get your sales and marketing process down really, really tight, you can fill boot camps on a weekly basis, put 12 to 24 people in them, and it's reoccurring every week because everything's so tight, and you maybe only talk to 50 people a week.
Yeah.
Right? That is the ultimate goal for most business owners, is to get to that space where it becomes that easy to do. To when you're starting out, I don't want to paint you a picture like it's going to be, ugly and gnarly, and it's going to take a lot of work. But guess what? It's going to be ugly and gnarly, and it's going to take a lot of work because you own a business.
Yep. I'm okay with that.
Business ain't easy. It's if you listen to Elon Musk, he talks about it all the time. Say, I remember a quote he said one time, the question was asked him, what would you say to a budding entrepreneur about getting started in their business? And he said, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. It's too hard. Right? And I mean, he's one of the wealthiest men in the world. And he still puts in 16, 18, 20-hour days. And he freaks out because he can't pay rent sometimes, right? Like prior to Tesla going boom and SpaceX taking off, he couldn't pay his rent on his house because he was over leveraged.
Yeah.
Right. So those are the kind of things us entrepreneurs have to deal with. I've gone bankrupt. It's not something that you want to do in business. I lost a multi-million-dollar business because of low oil prices. And 1 year it crashed. I lost all my revenue, lost everything, lost the house, gone. Right.
Okay.
So it's not for a faint of heart. So if you are determined to go out and do it, and you're determined to make it happen, you will, because you're determined. Right. And it takes is just daily incremental steps consistently every day to make it happen.
Perfect.
So if you talk to 5-10 people a day about this, within 2 weeks, you'll have your cohort will be filled,
Okay.
right? Because
Yeah.
you're talking to, 100 people, 50 to 100 people. Make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah, completely.
All right. So let me send that stuff off to you. If you have any questions about how it's laid out or what I'm asking you to do in there, let's just jump on another quick call and I'll walk you through it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Actually, how much time do we have?
Um,
I've got a few minutes. Let me see if I can open this up here and I'll put it in the chat, and then you should be able to download it from the chat, but I'll send it to you in an email as well.
when's our next chat? I think it's like next week. Or the 21st. Hold on. Oh, I think we were gonna figure that out today, actually. Oh no, it was on the 12th.
Yeah, we were going to meet on the 12th, but now that we've met today,
I think it would be kind of beneficial to keep that one, just to see if I have any questions. Like we can make it even a short meeting if need be, but maybe just a touch base.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Just so then we have that one already set, and then after that we can see when we need to book another meeting. Or would want to.
So I reorganized my file system here last weekend, and it's going to take me a minute here to find it.
How was your parents' anniversary though?
Oh, it was good. We had my daughter and her 2 kids came over, my grandkids, and we had a big honking meal. And then
Nice.
we sat around, we played games for most of the afternoon, which was a ton of fun.
That's awesome. Sounds like a good time.
We forget how much fun it is to interact as human beings with board games and stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, of course it is. That's what me and my family do all the time.
So there it is. Found it. I hope this is the good version.
I hope it's the good version. Oh, fingers crossed, eh?
Keep my fingers crossed. There we go.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to open it up in here, and we'll bring it into the chat. Why is that not opening? Oh, it's because I haven't downloaded from my cloud. There we go. Got it.
Perfect. And hey, at least your Wi-Fi was working.
Yes, absolutely it is. And it's kind of exciting that it's working. So let me share the screen with you.
Okay. Go down.
And I'm gonna save these, save all the photos, save, and I'm gonna cut this off. Done. There. So you can see my screen. Simplified business plan, action planning document. Now, the whole idea behind this is when most business owners are asked to create a business plan, they're thinking about the business plan that you have to actually go through and create at the beginning of your business. And that takes a lot of work. And 9 times out of 10, you never actually use it ever again.
Yeah.
So what's really important about the planning process is the actual process itself, not necessarily the plan. And so as we go through it, what's really important is, to quote Benjamin Franklin, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail by default because you're not putting a plan in place, right? So there's really 5 simple parts to what I've created here. First one is create your vision, right? Because you have to have that sense of purpose. So what is it? What is your sense of purpose? And the reason why you want to have a vision is because it's unifying, it's inspiring, and it provides a focal point for goal setting and business planning. So your vision, every time you go, hey, let's go do this, you have to ask yourself, does this align with our vision of what we're trying to do? Because if it doesn't, there's probably a pretty good chance that it's just going to distract you from achieving your goals.
True. Yeah.
Right? So it's a real simple process to walk you through how to create your vision and your mission. I wouldn't worry too much about your mission, because your mission is really stating how this is how we're going to achieve our vision. But where I think you need to kind of get to right now is what are the objectives that you need to achieve in order to make your vision a reality.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And then the actions. So a couple of spots where you write down your vision, write down your mission, write down your objectives. And your objectives are really, that big thing is here's how we'll know we've achieved our vision when we get here by doing this, right? And then the strategy is how do we make it happen? How will we grow? Right. So you and I just talked about some strategies that you can employ for marketing and some strategies you can employ for sales. We didn't get into the weeds about tactics, but we were talked high level about strategy. What can you put into place? And that's what you can emulate here in this plan. Then the action plan is what is the work that needs to get done to achieve that, right? What kind of, so when we talk action plan, the doing the door to door. So what is the objective of doing the door to door? And is that to actually get sales, or is that just to find out what the community wants?
Both.
Right. So if it's both, you want to make sure that in the questions you use when you're talking to your community, you make sure you're addressing both those outcomes.
Okay.
Because if you're not addressing it, you're only getting one or the other, not both, right?
Yeah, true.
And so the action planning document is, I break it out here real simple for you, right? And this is what allows you to, step 1, create your objective. Here's the outcome I want. Step 2 is the goal, and you could have more than one goals to achieve the objective, but do not go more than 3, because when you do more than 3, it just overwhelms people and it just makes it too difficult to focus.
Yeah.
It's much easier to focus on 2 or 3 goals than it is to focus on 5 or 6 to achieve an objective.
True. Okay.
So step 2, so there's goal 1, goal 2, and then if you want, you can just feel free to copy and paste to make it goal 3. And then the step 3 is in the planning stages. We have to make some assumptions around how are we going to achieve these goals, right? Who needs to be involved? What tools, templates, scripts, or processes do you need? Where do we need to go? Who do we need to focus on? Who do we need to target?
Yeah.
And then some dates, like when do we have to have this done by? And so when we look at you getting 12 clients in the next 2 weeks, right? So your date would be 2 weeks from now. So let's say the end of April, for example, right? And next boot camp's the end of April, and it gives you a little time to do the planning and a little time to do the execution. That might be a good date for it, is the end of the month. But it allows you to really bring that focus to where you need to go. And then budget. Like, what do you need for a budget to make it work, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes business owners go, well, just because we're starting out, we don't need a budget. I've got a really great framework tool in here. It's a spreadsheet for doing cash flow, and it's kind of a budget as well. But it really gives you an idea of how much money you can make and whether or not the numbers that you're trying to hit are realistic based on the number of clients and the number of hours that go into servicing those clients.
Okay.
Once you've got your budget done, then you go back and you look at your objectives and your goals, and you go, okay, do we need to change these because our budget is unrealistic? Our cash flows out to lunch, right? If it is, refine it, make it better, and then go back and tweak your cash flow again. And then step 6 is milestones and measurement. So every goal has a milestone. When you hit here, who's accountable for it? Who's accountable to get it done? When does it need to be done by? And this is the most important part. This is step 7. This is the execution of your action plan. And it's a 6-step action plan, but it's really, you plan what you're going to do. So you've already done what your outcomes are and your goals and all that stuff. But when you break down your individual goals into action things, you kind of have to do the plan again. But it's more very, very granular at this point. It's now, what is the goal of this action? What are we going to achieve? So let's say, for example, today you're going to go and talk to 10 new people. Here's the desired outcome. I'm going to talk to 10 people. I'm going to close 2 of them. Right? Who's going to do it? Well, Nikki. How's it going to be completed? Well, I'm going to go door to door and bang on the doors, make it happen. Who's going to do it? Who's going to do what and when? Well, just because it's just Nikki, it's going to be you, and you're going to do it today. Right? But if your partner is going to be involved, then it's going to be you and your partner doing what? Right? What resources do you need? Do you need flyers to be able to hand out to people? Do you need business cards? What do you need? Do you need a landing page so that they can go in and pre-register and pay for it? What are all those things that you need in place? Then you brief your team, and because it's you and a partner, you guys got to be on the same page, right?
Yeah.
The third most important thing, and this is what's critical in business, is most business owners don't track what they're doing. So how are you going to measure what you're doing? So in the case of going out and talking to 10 people, how are you tracking that you're talking to 10 people? Do you have a little notepad that you know, hey, talk 1, 2, 3, 4, or you got a clicker, like a golf clicker for stroke counting? How do you track that? Right?
Yeah.
That's really all it comes down to. But what happens though is when you track it, you have a baseline of this is what activity I did. And then you can measure it next week on the activity you did next week, and you look back at it and go, okay, I'm getting better. I'm talking to more people, we're getting better, and it's improving. And that's really the power of tracking, is you can start to manage the activity and make it better. Execution, just go out and do it. And then number 5 is the most important part of the whole thing, is debrief your action. What went well, what didn't? Why didn't it? Right? What didn't go well? What can we improve on it? And then you go back into, how do we replan that? How do we improve on that? So let's say, for example, you went and talked to 10 people and all 10 of them slammed the door in your face. Just hear me out. What could you say that would get them to not do that?
True.
Right? What offer could you give them saying, hey, we're just going around, you know, a lot of times people, you bang on the door and you introduce yourself, they slam the door because they know it's a sales call right away. Maybe not introduce yourself. Maybe say, hey, we're just going around town trying to find out if there's interest in healthier lifestyle. And then try that for the next 10 calls and then see how that works. And this is why you track and measure it, because you can tell what's working and what's not. And then replan it, right?
Yep. I like that.
Cool. Any questions about that?
No, actually, I'm just really excited to get going and start doing it.
I mean, I just fed you a ton of information, right? I don't want to overwhelm you or anything. There's lots to do that you need to take on as a business owner. But what you really need to do is focus first on the 5 stages. The first stage of business, 5 stages life cycle of a business. First stage is startup, which is where you're at. Very near future, you will get into what we call the fun stage. And that's where you got clients coming in, you're making money and things are going great. And then people go, can you do this? And you're going, yeah, we can, no problem. You hang up the phone and go, holy crap, how do we do that? Right?
Yeah.
That's the fun stage, right?
Yeah.
And then as you grow, right, you know, maybe 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I don't know, you'll hit what's called the whitewater stage. And that's when you start adding staff to your team. When you get 4 or 5 people on your team, it's kind of manageable. When you get 10, it's unmanageable. And that's when the whitewater hits, because you got all these people on your team and not everybody's doing what you want them to do because they're individuals. And you expect something to get done and it doesn't get done. The wheels fall off, client calls them, right? That's whitewater. Every business has to go through it if you want to get to a place of predictable profit. Right. And a lot of business owners, I know, they'll go into that and they'll bounce on that ceiling and they go, I can't deal with that. It's too much stress. And they'll come back and they put a cap on their ceiling. This is the amount of money I'm going to make for the rest of my life, because they're not willing to push through that whitewater or get the help to go through the whitewater and navigate it so they can get to the other side. When you get to the other side of predictable profit, you can scale your business to any size you want, because now you have the right systems in place to manage all that.
Okay, perfect. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And you should be. I'm excited for you too. The only systems you need right now are 2 systems. You need a marketing system and a sales system. Right? That's all you need. As we go, we'll figure the rest out as we go, but you have to get clients in the door.
Yep.
And then you have to get them trained and get results and get testimonials. Do you have a way to get testimonials from your clients?
Just kind of like reviews.
Well, not a little bit more than reviews, but testimonials. Yeah. So if you guys have a Google page, Google My Business, set it up so you can do online Google reviews would be good.
Okay. I'll get that going. I know Sean has just put his up like 2 weeks ago. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It may take some while because you have to get your Google business verified. It took me almost 2 years to get mine verified. It was kind of a pain in the butt because they kept sending stuff in the mail and I'd just getting lost. And anyway, so it's a bit of a time-consuming process, but if you get it, it will help, because Google reviews do make a difference. When people go to look at who you are, they're going to look at 7 pieces of content that you've put on social media, and over the next seven interactions with you, they'll probably end up on 4 different platforms reviewing who you are, what you do, and doing that social what do they call that? Social, that's the word I'm looking for. Social background, I guess, is what it is, right? So they're going to search out who you are and what you do. And if you've got that stuff in place, they're going to go, yeah, come help me. I need help. Right. And the best way to do that is if you guys are struggling getting people into your, what happened here? You got people struggling to get people in. It's maybe because you don't have enough testimonials, and it might be a good idea to do a trial boot camp for free, just to get people in, just to walk through the process, just to make sure you got it all working really well. And the only reason why you let them come in for free is because they have to give you a testimonial at the end.
Okay. I actually had that idea of doing the first 2 boot camps for free.
Yeah. I would do the first one for free, just to get some people to jump in on it and see how it goes. And then it does a couple of things too, because if you guys have never managed a group, it helps you kind of work out some of the kinks in that process before you actually have things done.
True. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Cool. Any questions about what we've covered here today?
No, honestly, just soaking in all the information. If I have any questions, I'll just text you or whatever.
Absolutely. Do that. All right, dear. Again, I'm excited about watching where you go, because it's only up from here, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. Have a wonderful day. I'll get this off to you in an email.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.